We are going to be working on section 1.3, day 2, partitioning a segment. So the first thing you're going to want to write down is the definition to the word partition. It just means to break a segment into smaller pieces. Sounds like a big word for an easy definition. And then a ratio is the comparison of two quantities. So you're going to hear it be read as A to B. You'll see it also with the colon here, which also reads as A to B, and you always read it in that order. So whatever the number comes, whether it's bigger or smaller, comes in the order it's told to you. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to highlight these off. It says in the order of 3 to 2. So if I color the first, because I just finished saying it goes in the same order as it was written, color the first 3 sections 3, and then I'm going to color the next 2 sections a different color. So just so you can visually see what's going on. So we have a total parts of 5. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sections, and this is in a ratio of 3 to 2, 3 being the first one since it was written first. Okay, let's try 4 to 6. 1, 2, 3, 4 is right here, and then 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We could have reduced this. Could have said 2/3 if you grouped them. The next one, it has 3 to 5. So I can go 1, 2, 3, and then the 5 remaining will be that color. And again, if you notice, we add these 3 to 5 up, you get a total of 8 parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 there. And then my last one, 1, 2, 3. Ooh, this one hasn't just gonna have 1, 2, 3. So we got to figure out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we need to divide it up. So I'm gonna go ahead and say 6. Oops, that's the right color. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then I'll go with 1, 2, and then I'm going to show you how, because I colored 6 of them. Let's get, I have to be on pen. 6 to 2 is the same thing as ratio of 3 to 1 when I reduce. So sometimes you'll just have to count them out and make sure they still work out. So we have the next section. Says we have a line here, and I want to go along this line somehow and put a new point somewhere. Maybe here, that would be almost the middle. I don't want to be the middle. I want to be 3 to 1, so maybe farther even into it. I want this section to be 3 times bigger than the final section. So I got to figure out where to place my point P so that it happens to be in the form of 3 to 1. So the first thing I'm going to say is make a little note here of 3 parts to 1 part. That was what they wanted me to do. And then I have been telling you as we're going along on the other ones to count the total parts, because that's important. So the total parts would be 4, because I'd add the 3 parts and the 1 part for the total parts of 4. This is going to help me figure out the fraction I need to find. I need to find 3/4 of the entire line. So 3/4 of each distance. So I'm writing little notes for you to go along. And also I'm going to go ahead and just do a little sketch here, just to give you an idea of what I'm thinking. A, B, and I want P to be somewhere up here probably, where this is 3 parts to 1 part, as you saw when we were highlighting in the last example. And now you can kind of see how I want to go not the whole distance across, but about 3/4 of that distance. So that's where the 3/4 is coming in. So we got to divide. Let's go ahead and, maybe just do a sketch here. I want to look at my horizontal distance as well as my vertical distance. So I'm going to find out what each of these total distances are. So eventually I can find 3/4 of that distance. If I look at the x-axis, I start here at -8 and I go all the way across until I hit +8 right here. So that is going to be a total distance. I'm going to write it along this, is a total distance of 16. So on the x-axis, I want to go 3/4 of the total distance of 16 units. I need to know how much that amount is. I'm going to put it over 1 so I can reduce. 4 goes into 4 once. 4 goes into 4 4 times. So across the top when I multiply, 3 times 4 is 12 over 1. So it's telling me I need to add 12 units to the x coordinate where I started. And since I'm starting at A, heading towards B, I'm going to start at the x coordinate of -8, and I'm going to add 12 units to it. So my new value for the x is going to be +4. So here's my new point for P. It's going to have a 4 for the x. To find the y distance, let's go over here. The y-axis, this distance started way down here at -7, I can see. -7 all the way up to +5 is 12 units. But that's for the total distance. And remember, we only want to go 3/4 of the way up. So I got to find out what 3/4 of the distance 12 is. So again, I'm going to reduce. 4 goes into 12 3 times. Straight across the top, 3 times 3 is 9. Down the bottom, you got 1. So it's telling me I need to add 9 units to the y coordinate. And again, we started at the coordinate for A. So the y value at A was -7 right here. So I'm going to start with -7 plus the 9 units, and that will give me 2. Now let's go and check out our answers. This is a coordinate value of 4, 2. So starting from the origin, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Now we can see how, in fact, it did work out that we partitioned it 3 to 1, as you can see. So we're just taking a a part of the distance. So in this case, 3/4 of the distance. I went 3/4 of the distance this way, 3/4 of the distance up, and I found where my P should be located. Let's try that again, since that was the first time we probably ever done that. This time, it says along the segment, so that the ratio from AP to B, so we're going in this direction again, is in the ratio of 3 to 7. So the smaller number is first, which means it's probably going to be small down here, big all the way up to the rest of the top. So let's write out a little bit of notes to begin. There is 3 parts to 7 parts. That gives me a total of 10 parts when I add them. So total parts equals 10, which is now going to tell me I need to do 3/10, because I want to go 3 of the total 10 parts for my fraction of the distance. So 3/10 of each distance. So I'm going to start with the X axis. Let's go ahead and sketch in what the total distance is so I can know what 3/10 will be. So I have drawn in a vertical and a horizontal line here to figure out the total distance. So for right now, from -2, or you could just count them, but from -2 all the way till I get to +8 is 10 units. And then if I look at how low I started here at -10, all the way up to +10 is going to be 20 units. So those are the total distances. And I need 3/10 of that x-axis. So right here, 3/10 of the total 10. Let's go ahead and 10 goes into 10 once. Cross all the way across the top is 3. All the way across when I multiply is 1. So I need to add 3 units to the x coordinate. And since I'm starting here at -2, I'm going to say -2 plus those 3 more units is going to give me 1. So my P is going to have a coordinate of 1 for the x. Let's go over here. The y-axis, I still need that 3/10, but this time I want to go 3/10 of the full 20. Put that over 1. Let's do some reducing. 10 goes into 22 times. Straight across the top, 3 times 2 is 6. 1 times 1 is 1. So I need to add 6 units to the starting point of the y coordinate. And we started way down there in that lower left corner. So we're going to say -10 plus 6 more units will give us -4. And so now I'm going to go ahead with -4 here. And let's go ahead and check it out. From the origin it says 1 to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4. That looks pretty good. We thought it was going to be on that low end here. We were correct. I'm going to just show you how the partition works. There's 3 parts to 7 parts. We did fantastic. Okay, we're going to partition again, but we don't have a coordinate graph to help us out, so Next best thing is to sketch it out yourself. Here we go. Y-axis, X-axis, and it doesn't have to be anything fancy, just a visual. And we're going to go 3/4. So we don't even have the parts. They didn't say the ratio this time. They went straight to telling us the fraction. So they did the work for us. We're already along the way of knowing we need 3/4 of the distance. We just need to know how much that distance is. So for A, they tell me -5, 2. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2. I'm just going to estimate it. -5, -2, because of this value here. And then B is 4, 5, so the positive direction, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're just trying to get relatively in the right section of the quadrants. And the reason is I need to partition somewhere along this line. I want to go 3/4 the distance from A to B. So we're going to go 3/4 somewhere high up in this end somewhere. But let's go find the horizontal distance. Let's go find the vertical distance. So from -5, and I end straight down here at +4 for the x-axis, will be a total of 9 units. And then if I start way down here at -2 and I end up high at 5, that will be a total of 7 units. So the same deal here. Let's find the x-axis first. Last time we had great numbers. They all worked out because I was being nice. Not being nice today, or on this example anyway. 3/4 of the horizontal distance, 9. Ooh, not going to go in nicely. Nowhere to reduce. So that's going to be equal to 3 times 9 straight across the top is 27/4. And I'm going to say that's the same thing as 6 1/4. 4 goes in there, 6 3/4. So I'm going to add 6 3/4 to the x-coordinate. And that was -5, -5 plus 6 3/4. If you want to do it as a decimal, that's fine. Let's see, we have more positives than we have negatives, so my final answer will be 1 3/4. If you were working with decimals, you could have done 1.75. That would be fine. Over here, I'm going to put my answer. I'm halfway there, 1 3/4, or 1.75. Now I need to go over and find the y-axis. So again, kind of made it easy with the nice numbers earlier. Everything's not always going to work out perfect. This time I need to do 3/4 of the vertical distance that we saw was 7. So again, multiply across 21/4. That goes in 5 times with 1/4, or you can say 5.25. I'm going to add that 5 1/4 to the y-coordinate. And so the y-coordinate started at -2, so -2 plus 5 1/4 is going to be, there's more positives, so 3 1/4, or 3.25. Now let's just estimate, see if we at least gotten the idea or the area that we think we should have. From the origin, 1 3/4, 3 goes up a little higher, so yes, we did get in the correct estimating, because remember, I wanted to go 3/4 of the way up. This looks about 3/4 of the way up, so very well done. And I got one more to go. Let me move the screen on up and then I'll continue. So again, our last problem does not have a diagram, so I'm going to just make at least a sketch of a coordinate plane to help me out visually. Then it says an 80-mile trip is represented on a grid by a directed line segment from starting from point M, which is 3, 2, to point N, which is 9, 14. So I'm just going to estimate then 3, 2, over 3 up to somewhere low here. And then over 9 up 14 is going to be somewhere high. So again, there's not little spaces to count. We're just estimating. M is 3, 2. And again, here's the trip from here to here. They want to know what point represents 20 miles into the trip. Well, if this whole thing is 80, 20 miles is not that far into it. So 20 miles out of the total, remember we refer to the total always, was going to be represented as 1/4. So we're going 1/4 of each distance. Which is, yep, that looks about 1/4-ish. Let's start with the x-axis. I'm going to sketch in my horizontal distances right here so I can know what the total distance this way is and the total vertical distance is. Let's look at the coordinates. From 3 to 9 is a total of 6 units. So for the x-axis, I want to go 1/4 of 6 units. I'm going to put that over 1. This one I can at least reduce. 2's go into here twice and 3 times. So 3 halves, or if you want 1.5. I'm going to add 1.5 to the x coordinate. And since the x coordinate started here at 3, 3 plus 1.5 is going to be 4.5. So I'm going to stick with the p right here. I'll call this p because we were using p before. P is going to be 4.5. Now I had to find out what the y coordinate would be. Let's move over here. Y coordinate. Oh, it's y-axis. Let's put down. Let's go see. From starting here on the y was up here at 2 and it ended at 14 for a total of 12 units. I want 1/4 of the total 12 units. That's a nice easy number. 4 goes into 12 3 times. So I need to add 3 units to the y coordinate. And we started here at A and the y coordinate was 2. So 2 plus that extra 3 units up is going to be 5. And let's go ahead and look. That looks just about perfect. So again, just take your time. Most importantly, find out what distance you want, and that's when you need to know what the total amount is. So even if they give it in ratio parts, add to find the total distance before you find the fraction. Okay, so we are now done with 1.3, day 2.